Hey guys, Brony Critic here. Now, on the Wonderbronies episode, I'll leave a description or a link to it right here. I made note that I was going to start up a vlog series of sorts, and yeah, this is the first video of that series. Now, here's the thing. Some stories, you know that I review fan fictions, fan works, and things like that. Some stories, however, are so large or so expansive in their lore or mythologies, or just so long, that it would be unreasonable for me to review something or review the whole or that thing like upon its once it's finished. For some stories it's because there's going to be multiples in the series and they're constantly being consistently worked on, or that there are, thousands of chapters or hundreds of thousands of words, really long, expansive stories, that it would just be inefficient to wait until the whole series is done and then do a review. And, some stories, it's also just because that they are so interesting that I would like to give my take as I'm reading it as to the story overall. So that's what this series is going to be. These are going to be vlogs about as I get through certain portions of a story. In this particular case, with this first vlog series, of which this video will be the prologue for, it is going to be for the... It's not that I don't know the name of it, it's that I'm trying to pronounce it properly. The Austraeoh series by Imploding Colon. This is the title right here. Yeah, that's kind of the reason why it's a little hard for me to that's sort of the reason why it's a little hard for me to say the name of the stories. Now, the series is not yet complete. There's going to be, I think the author said, 12 stories in the entire series, and he's working on the 7th right now. But the story gets updated every day, and for some of the early stories, it actually got updated multiple times every day. And most of the chapters are around, I think if they're 2,000 words, that's exceedingly rare. So most of them are below 2,000 words, which is very easy to read. It's not hard to get through. Some of them are like 700 words, 600 words. That's tremendously easy to get through. The problem is, each story has 200 chapters of similar length, between 600 and 2,000 words per chapter, and then there's 200 of them in every book in the series. That is a lot to read. That's close to, I want to say that's probably around 200,000 words each story, which is a lot. So, to get through the series and to give it the courtesy and respect that I think this series, as I've looked just little bits into the reactions this series gets, and it's one of the more notable series as far as like lores and alternative universes, and I'm really excited to see that because I love stories and fan fictions with large, expansive lores, as you could probably tell by my own work. So with that said, and with that in mind, how are these vlogs going to work? How am I going to organize exactly how these stories, like how I look at each story? Well, first, of course, is going to be this prologue video, which kind of gives my summarization for the process and how this is going to go about. There's going to be an epilogue, which when I complete the entire series, all 12 books, I will give my opinion of the book series overall, how good it is, what I liked about it, what I might not like about it, things like that. But also, at the end of each story, when I get through each story, I'm going to have a little summarization of that individual story overall. The stories out at the moment are sorry, I'm just looking them up right here. I got my computer right here. They are the Austraeoh series, Austraeoh, which is the first book in the series. Sorry, the lighting got messed up real quick. Alright, Iljonbairo, and if I butcher these names, I'm very, very sorry. If you guys could actually leave a description, or like in the comments, phonetic spellings of probably how these stories are named. So there's Iljonbairo, Inavidir, Urohinger. I'm pretty sure that's actually how that one's pronounced. Urohinger. Ordziot, Yeferda, and the current one he's writing right now, which is Yananluter. And each of these stories sounds like it's someone just smashing their face into a keyboard, but they actually do have meanings within the stories. Like, I caught it immediately, but Austraeoh, I know that Ao, E-O-H, is actually, it is, in one particular language, it is the way to say horse. And I think it's Nordic. I think it's the Nordic way of saying horse. I might be wrong in that, but, I think that is kind of what it's implying. Now, hopefully the stories will explain over on what these names actually mean. It might be a while, but I think we're gonna figuring out. The thing about what really caught me to this series, though, was the the summarizations of the story. Let's call it that. Rainbow Dash flies east. That's it. That is the entirety of the synopsis of, the first story. But, it has a huge following. It has a huge amount of views. It looks and has what I can only imagine is a deeply expansive and descriptive lore. But Rainbow Dash flies east. That alone makes me interested to see what this is going to be. Now, of course, at the end of each story, I'm going to have, this little a video giving, my opinion of the story overall, its strengths, its weaknesses, how it compares to the rest of the series, or where I think it fits within the rest of the series, how it fits in comparison with all that. But for each individual story, I'm actually, because each story is 200 chapters long, and they're pretty dedicated along that line, to the point of which I think that there's going to be 200 chapters per book. Now, that's 2,400 chapters at the end of this entire at the end of this entire enterprise, with the end of the series. That's a lot of chapters. So it seemed reasonable to me that after every 10 chapters I will come out with a video. So, I have a prologue, an epilogue, 12 post-book analyses, so that's 14, and then, let's see, if there's 200 chapters, 10 chapters, and for every chapter, that's 20 videos per story, not including the post-story synopsis. 12 stories, that is 254 videos in my Austraeoh series vlogs. Now, of course, I might do these vlogs about other stories as well, depending on, if you guys are interested in them, or, if it's a long-standing series or multiple stories within, I'll probably do things similar to this. It's just because of how long and how big this series is that I feel it's best to divide and conquer, as opposed to simply giving my opinion, at the end of it. Now, these videos are going to be unscripted. They're just going to be kind of me talking about what I liked in the chapters overall, what I didn't like, things that I thought are cool, things like how the story's progressing, which 200 chapters, either a lot can happen, or there's a lot of chapters where you're just going, okay, well, that's not. And I'm hoping it's more towards the former, but I'm sure if you have 200 chapters, with stories around between like 200 and 300,000 words, that there's going to be a lot of wasted chapters. I hope not, but this I'm interested to see how they're going to work it. And I hope that, just Rainbow Dash Flies East is just a nice little way to draw you in. That is not literally the only thing happening. I don't think it is. I don't think it is because I've only glimpsed at the TV tropes for Austraeoh because I wanted to know, is this series worth it? And I was like, okay, it has a pretty extensive, pretty expansive, TV tropes page. I didn't look any of the hints up. All I know is that it's like an alternative history thing. That's all. That is the extent of it. And you can learn that much, actually, just by looking it up on FimFiction. Now, I'll leave a link to the series start, Austraeoh, in the comment, or in the description. And, I'm excited to see where this goes. Now, the first video probably won't be until... hopefully it'll be later this week, but it could be next week. It's all depending upon when I get around to reading the story proper. I'd actually like to get it out this week, sometime this week. So that's it. Getting ready for the Austraeoh series. Hopefully when the next video will either be a review, or it will be the first of these vlog series for the first 10 chapters of Austraeoh.